Hello and welcome to another video. Today I would like to do a bit of a mid-year goals update. At the start of the year, I created a bingo card with all different types of goals that I wanted to reach, with the intent of not trying to hit everything, but just trying to get bingo and being satisfied with that. So we're going to check and see how far I've come. I have my iPad here with the bingo card, and I've kind of written out an update for every single goal. So the first goal is get strong, and I believe that at the time I added a quite ambiguous description or requirement to this specific goal, and that was, I think, 25 push-ups by the end of the year. And this was actually more so a long-term thing. I just wanted to be a bit stronger than I was at the start of the year. I do think that I have gotten stronger. I have been doing push-ups, but the problem with this is that I had quite a bad shoulder injury, and what turned out to be the case was that all the stretching I was doing was adding to the instability that was in my shoulder, and so the strength exercises weren't really helping me. I had to build up endurance instead. That was a bit of a tangent, but I think what I'm trying to say is that I don't think I'm there just yet, but I'm still very hopeful that towards the end of the year, things will be better. I have been working at it. I've been doing my shoulder exercises. I just have to do more exercise. Also, just not only focusing on my back, my shoulders, those are my problem areas, but also my entire body. So I don't know, maybe go out swimming, which I actually have done, and I've ran also. But I want to get to a more consistent level, because that's definitely not where I am at the moment. So I can't really stripe that off. The next goal is knit a Norwegian pattern, and I haven't done that yet. I also haven't knit 2 color work socks. I was very enthusiastic about socks last year, and when I was doing my 2023 roundup, it was mostly socks, and this year I actually wanted to make more garments, and I've kind of lost my passion for knitting socks and I've regained new passions in the meantime, and so I haven't knit those. I also don't feel that they're necessary at this point, because I've knit enough socks to only wear knitted socks at this point. So I don't know, but I would like to still try and get this done before the end of the year. The next goal I have completed. Well, not completed. Okay, I can't stripe this one off either. It's 2 videos per month. I am on track right now with this goal. I have, to date, every single month uploaded 2 videos. There were 2 months that were quite a struggle. I think it was May and April where I uploaded the second video on the last day of that month with just a couple of hours to spare, but I am on track. I've been a bit more consistent, so I would say that's going quite well. I'm just looking at this next goal, and I also can't stripe this one off because it's still in progress. So I wanted to knit patterns from 5 independent European designers. I don't know if I added an extra requirement to this goal. If that was the case, I think the requirement must have been something like had less than 15 projects of this pattern on Ravelry posted. So I can't stripe that one off. However, I have been knitting designs from independent European designers. I've been working on knitting everything from the Isaiah Archives collection, and all these designers who worked on this collection are independent Danish, thus European designers. The only downside is that they're all Danish, and that wasn't the intention of this goal. I wanted to knit patterns from designers from all over Europe, not only Denmark. So I think I might have to count all the designs from the Isaiah Archives collection as one. In any case, I finished the Collar Cape by Anna Fensel and the Norma sweater by My Favorite Things Knitwear, and I'm almost done with the Inga sweater by Lynette. Then the sixth goal, knit a cardigan. I have completed that, so I can finally stripe something off. Yes! The cardigan that I knit was the Collar Cape by Anna Fensel. And aside from that, I don't think I've knit another cardigan, but in any case, I can stripe it off. The next goal is publish 2 video tutorials. I have not done that yet. However, I have prepared one video tutorial and I already have an idea for a second one. So I am working on it, just not there yet. The next one I have completed, and that was knit a vintage English pattern, and I did that with the easy cable vest, so we can cross that one off as well. I haven't yet knit a Dutch pattern, so we'll move on from that. I also haven't completed designing 2 knit items, but I'm working hard on that at the moment. I don't think I've really mentioned it on the podcast, just kind of in passing, because I haven't physically started on it. I'm just kind of writing out things and swatching at the moment, but I was planning on working on 2 projects starting in August. Now, I've also not knit the Anatolian sweater. I don't think I was ready this first half of the year, but I do think now that I have the skills in terms of knitting, but also in terms of color combinations. I know a bit more about selecting colors, so I'm not too worried about that. The next one is knit a 52 weeks of socks sock. I bought this book last year. I was very enthusiastic about that. Didn't really know all that much about sock knitting at the time. Was a bit too ambitious and got burnt a couple of times, and now I think I'm ready for them. I haven't worked on any this year, but I am planning on taking some sock yarn with me on holiday and trying out one of these. Then the middle square, and I put this in the middle because I actually promised someone else this goal, and that was to knit 3 sweaters for my boyfriend. This is again another long-term goal. I'm right on track, kind of. I finished one sweater, that was the Midwinter sweater by Stina Hulgaard Johansson. That went well. He really likes the sweater, so I'm very happy with that. And now I'm working on the patchwork sweater by Mayumi Kawai, and that hit a couple of road bumps because I had injured my shoulder, but I'm really not worried about completing this goal. I already have the 3rd pattern and the yarn for it lined up, so I think that's going to go quite well. Yeah. Yeah, so I'm on track for that. The next goal was to go to a yarn festival, and I had actually planned on going, I believe, somewhere in April. However, the specific festival I was supposed to go to got cancelled, so I couldn't go, but I am planning on going in either August or September, so hopefully I can cross this one out soon. The next goal was to knit a scarf, one of these very long ones, and I had a scarf book for that one. I still want to knit a scarf from that specific book, but I knit up a scarf already. I did that for one of my mums, so I can cross that one out. I used a free Danish pattern for it. It's called Berlin Turkel, and it is from Mayflower, so I'll leave a link to that in the description box below. The next goal was to go pattern thrifting, and I did that. I actually went thrifting in Leiden and in The Hague. I didn't really manage to find anything when I was in The Hague, but when I went in Leiden, I actually got this very cool 1950s book on knitting, and I've been looking through it, trying to learn things from it, and it's very cool. So I'm very, very happy with that find. So I'm going to cross that one out. The next one I also completed. It was to knit mittens. Mittens were so hard for me. Well, I think they might still be quite hard, but I for a long time did not have any success when it came to knitting mittens, and so I really wanted to try hard this year, and it actually worked. I finished the Nordic motif colorwork mittens by Yoko Hata from her Seamless Knits book, and I'm very happy with them. I have used them. They're not very great for really cold weather because I don't know, there's still a couple of holes here and there from knitting, and so I just have to go in there and felt the inside, and then I think they'll be perfect. So yeah, I can cross this one out. The next one I can cross out as well because I knit the Berlin Turkel, and that was only in Danish, so I knit it up in Danish. The Lillehammer 1994 sweater, that was on my list of objects to knit. I haven't done that yet. Again, I think it's all about not feeling confident enough to knit something like that, and I think now I have the experience for that, so I've already selected the yarn, the colors that I want, so I just need to get that and then knit it, and I think that's going to happen probably somewhere in September, October. So I can't stripe that one out. The next one I also can't stripe out because I have only done one book review. I reviewed the Writing Knitting Patterns handbook a couple of weeks, maybe even months at this point, and that went quite well. I was very happy to have read the book and put in that extra effort to give a detailed description of it. So that's one down. I'm planning to, I think, even film more than 3 reviews because I would really like to review the Japanese books that I've been reading that are about grading and drafting patterns. So that's coming up soon. I was also planning on doing a review on a book that had information on how to knit plus-sized garments. So that's coming up at some point on the channel. The next goal I can also not stripe out just yet, but I've already started working on it. It was to knit a Japanese vintage pattern. I'm currently working on a ski set designed for a teenaged girl, so I've had to size that up a bit. I've finished the back panel. I did that actually quite a long time ago, but yeah, I'm working on it. I've put a lot of things on hold because it's summer. I want to work on summer knits. In any case, I'm fairly certain that I'll be able to finish that before the end of the year. The next goal is pre-December Christmas gifts. I didn't want to knit Christmas gifts in December just because it would be really stressful. I'm also thinking a lot about the entire idea of knitting or crocheting up gifts because it's a lot of work. And, just because I knit and crochet doesn't necessarily mean that I always have to give a handmade gift. So I'm not too sure how this is going to turn out. I might just not knit anything for Christmas. I'll see. And then the next one is design a crochet item. I'm working on that right now. I have actually been crocheting quite a lot lately. I've been making modifications to patterns and I've been coming up with ideas, and I have a good idea at this moment, so I'm working on it. The next goal was to knit gloves. I haven't worked on that, period. And then the final one was to knit up a Swedish pattern. And I didn't think that this would be all that hard because I really like Järbo, and I think it's Svarta Fåret. I'm not too sure. I think that's also kind of like a company that is attached to Järbo. In any case, those two yarn companies are Swedish and they offer a ton of free patterns in different languages as well. But I do think I might want to knit up one of their patterns this year and just select the Swedish language. I do have to say though, I knit Järbo's midwinter sweater for my boyfriend, and the English translation was not that great. There were, I think, two or three mistakes in there, and there were mistakes that were quite detrimental to the final outcome, and so I had to actually go and look at the original pattern that was written in Swedish, and so I was working off of the Swedish and English one. So technically I've already knit up a Swedish pattern, but I want to actually do it now with the intention of knitting up a Swedish pattern, and I do have one that I would like to work on this summer. I just don't know if I have enough time for it, but we'll see. In any case, that was everything. Looking at the bingo card, there are 25 goals on here, and I have done, say here, 6 of them, so that's a fifth, a little bit more than a fifth. So I think I'm doing quite well, especially considering that a lot of these goals are long term, and so I've done portions of these. So I definitely feel that I'll be able to hit bingo at the end of the year. In any case, thank you so much for watching and listening, and I hope to see you soon in another video. Bye bye!